We are coming to the end of our 2-month-long trip in Japan. Ratish is a recent addition.
I crashed the last week of their honeymoon.
We've been in Tokyo specifically for a month. We wanted to sort of do a wrap-up based off of our experience of what we would suggest people to actually buy when they're in Japan. We're going to specify Tokyo since Ratish has only been to Tokyo. But this is Brendan. This is my husband. My name is Persia. This is Ratish. And we're going to go through, based off of our favorite buys, what we would suggest you specifically buy when you come to Japan. I'm going to kick it off since this is my channel. It's just striped shirts.
Very Persia.
I love striped shirts.
Yeah.
It's been sort of a hallmark for me for a lot of my life.
Yeah.
And every single secondhand store, I think you guys can attest to this, every single secondhand store has a row of striped shirts.
Just like a wall of stripes.
And so if you don't have any, and especially if you want to like try on, because this is my general feeling about quote unquote basics, is that the fit is the most important thing. So I'm very much in a part of my life where I want to try everything on. And yeah, you can go to eBay and find, I'm sure, like a $5 striped shirt. But if you want to go into a store and many stores over and over again and try on many different types of striped shirts and find the perfect one for you and the fit you want, I would suggest secondhand shopping for striped shirts in Japan.
I picked up one striped shirt on the trip. I tried on 2.
That's true.
Bought 1.
And that's what you're wearing right now.
Done. No. Oh, no, this is, I guess this is different.
This is also a striped
That's vertical stripes.
This
You're
is,
talking about horizontal stripes.
This is striped. You're right.
No, he's talking about a Helly Hansen
I got a Helly Hansen striped
short
shirt.
sleeve.
Yeah, which is...
striped shirt. Yeah. We also have, I've seen more Helly Hansen brick and mortar stores in Tokyo than I have maybe ever in my life.
Yeah.
Is that just maybe a weird type of perception?
Yeah, the most Helly Hansen I'd ever seen in one place was at the Norway Pavilion at Epcot in Disney World, and then Tokyo. So the 2 places I've ever seen Helly Hansen in real life.
Yeah, so if you're also a Helly Hansen fan, which he is, you can also buy that in Japan pretty readily available.
Make warm stuff.
They make warm stuff. Oh, right.
Yeah.
I see, because it's Nordic.
Yeah.
And they make striped shirts.
Yeah. Ooh.
Can we talk about umbrellas?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk about umbrellas. You see these everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see umbrellas everywhere. And what I really like, and what I hope we can do today, like before I leave, is get an attachment for the umbrella, which is a fan. Fans are everywhere. People are like holding them, but you also see a lot of folks attach them to the actual umbrella itself.
Right.
Something that we've learned is that the color of the umbrella can really matter, and so you don't want to get an umbrella that's like purely black, because sometimes like it can feel hot underneath, especially if you're like sitting there and you have the umbrella close to you. So try to get one that's like relatively light colored.
Reflective on top.
Yep.
Yeah. Dark on the bottom.
Yeah. The umbrella I bought here is just black.
Oh.
I only use it when it's fully raining.
Yeah. Mine's like kind of a reflective green top and then black liner on the inside.
Yeah, yours is nice.
Yeah.
It's very small.
Got it
as
from
well.
Family Mart, the convenience store, for like $5.
Oh, so
Lasted
good.
me the whole trip. We got it like last month.
That's true. It has lasted. Brendan, do you want to talk about, now that you're talking about Family Mart, do you want to talk about snacks? Or you decided not to do snacks. Do you want to talk about Aquarius?
Okay, here's the thing. Well, actually, this is a perfect segue, because we're talking about heat, and we're talking about how, I think in Japan, they have just like totally figured out heat mitigation in a lot of ways. One of the ways that they do that is also by hydration. I think the hydration culture here is like on a completely different level. You go into any convenience store, and there's just like a wall of these little pouches that you can get that are filled with like they're just like nutrient sacks that you just like shoot.
Yeah,
we had one
the
recently.
konjac ones.
Yeah. And you just kind of like shoot it into your mouth. But the other thing that they have figured out, there are 2 drinks that they have here. One is called Pocari Sweat that everybody's obsessed with. And there's another one that Coca-Cola makes called Aquarius, which I am personally obsessed with. This is like, I think, my favorite drink of all time anywhere in the world. And basically what they bill both Pocari Sweat and Aquarius as are like sweat replacements, is how they refer to it. Like what you're sweating out, these are the minerals that you're putting
put it
back
right
into
back
yourself.
in.
And that sounds, I think, disgusting to be like, oh, I'm drinking sweat. But in actuality, what it tastes like is basically just like grapefruit juice. I love how immediately drinking a Pocari Sweat or an Aquarius feels like it just like completely revitalizes your entire body. I'm so weirded out, in particular, that Aquarius is not available in the United States. I don't understand it because, first of all, it's by Coca-Cola. It's an American company. Aquarius is available everywhere else in the world. If you're watching this outside of the United States, you're probably like, oh, I can go get an Aquarius right now. I cannot. When I go home, I just have to dream of getting this again. It's basically like, what if Gatorade had, I looked it up on this trip because I was curious, a third of the sugar is how much sugar is in Aquarius. So you're getting all the benefits of like the electrolytes and the minerals of Gatorade, of which there are, some benefits of Gatorade, but with basically a third of the sugar, which I think is miraculous and great and is my favorite drink. And the amount of times that Persia has heard me say, I think there's an Aquarius in my future, probably off the charts on this trip.
And y'all, this is not an ad break. We're not sponsored by Coca-Cola.
He's
a big fan.
This video is sponsored, but not by Aquarius.
I'm not in the pocket of Coca-Cola, to be clear.
We haven't gotten to the sponsor yet.
They're probably an evil company, realistically.
Coca-Cola?
They're probably pretty evil.
It's feeling like Nestle adjacent.
Brendan's supported by Big Sweat.
Yeah, damn. That is the pocket I'm in.
Okay.
I'm sweating.
I also, Ratish, if you want to briefly give some suggestions, since you're vegetarian,
Yep.
Brendan and I are not. What we've eaten so far, what do you feel like you've learned about how to be vegetarian in Japan? Because it's not easy as far as I can tell.
I've learned a few things. Don't assume that the stuff that they have on their A-board to draw people in on the outside the sidewalk, that little sign that they have, just because it features only like traditional common meat things, in Japan, that they're not going to have a vegetarian thing. One other thing I want to share specifically for the folks who have been to Ippudo, am I pronouncing it correctly?
Ippudo, yeah.
In New York, I've been to the one like in Midtown West, like off the C&E train. I've also been to Ippudo V, which is in Dumbo. Both phenomenal, but you're going to be paying, as a vegetarian, you're going to be paying around $30-something for a bowl. We went to the Ippudo here that had a vegan pork tonkatsu ramen that was phenomenal. I paid $8.80 USD. So
it's unreal.
The ramen prices are really sad compared to New York.
Well, the thing about ramen in Japan, which I just learned recently, is that there's like a cultural feeling that it needs to be 1,000 yen or less.
Oh, really?
Like a bowl of ramen that's 1,000 yen is like the maximum that it should be.
Right. Well, I think that's also just like their feeling about ramen is that it's sort of like the everyman, like you come after work and you just grab a bowl of ramen. It's supposed to be sort of not a street food, but it's like a casual meal.
But over the past 2 years, inflation has started to hit Japan.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the history of inflation in Japan, it's like pretty flat until literally like 2022 just about. And then it just skyrockets, and I feel like that's when you're starting to see ramen get into like 1,200 yen. But still, how much is that?
Right. Yeah, I think it's actually similar to like feelings in the US and specifically New York about like pizza prices, like how much a slice should be.
Yes.
Like when I was growing up, people had very strong feelings that like a slice should be $1 or there should be $1 slice places, and then it was like $2. Now in New York, you have like 4, 5, 6. But yeah, I think there's a very strong cultural feeling about like how much a slice of pizza should be because it is that like, oh, you just go out, you get a slice, you get 2 slices, and it's like relatively cheap and affordable and accessible. So I think it's very similar.
Can I just mention?
The pizza in Japan?
The pizza in Tokyo is killer.
We were bound to get here.
Yeah, it's so good.
We're bound to talk about this. Let's talk about it.
It's so good.
This is a fashion channel, guys.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, should I talk about shoes?
Yeah, let's talk about your shoes.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about fashion. So when we got here, I basically wore out my shoes trying all of the amazing pizza available in Tokyo. It was like slice shop, Neapolitan, slice shop.
We're bringing it back to pizza again.
And by the end of it, I was like, oh, I have holes in my shoes. I need better, newer shoes so I can go to another slice shop, another Neapolitan place.
Yeah.
Fast fired, oven roasted. Anyway, no, we had a conversation pretty early on that was like, we both wanted to get shoes while we were here, and we wanted something that felt like very specifically Japanese.
Yeah, or something that we could only get here.
Right, and I think, the default there, and there's nothing wrong with this, is to go to Onitsuka Tiger. A lot of people go there. Obviously, it's hard, almost impossible to get in the US for like reasonable prices.
Yeah.
And they just have stores all over the place in Tokyo. So a lot of people go there, they get them customized, like very cool. I personally didn't really align myself with the look of those shoes. Like, I just don't think they'd be comfortable for me.
Yeah, they're very flat.
I've also broken one of my feet twice in the same spot, so I'm very particular about what shoes I wear. They need to be really comfy, and also because I walk around for like 6-7 hours a day and take photos in Manhattan, I need them to like really stand the test of time. Point being, I was looking for shoes that would really look good, be Japanese, and be comfortable and handle walking. We found this brand really early on.
Really early on, like the first few days.
Called Patrick. And I saw these shoes and they were not available in my size at pretty much any store I went to. And
We really went to maybe 3 or 4 Patrick stores before we found these shoes in your size.
yeah, we saw them in, department stores and stuff like that, and every single time I was like, do you have this colorway in my size? And every single time they were like, we have the size below that or the size above that.
Very popular shoe size.
Very popular
What shoe size, because I think we're going to be talking about shoe sizes a little bit more.
Yeah.
What U.S. shoe size are you? 10 and a half?
10 and a half US, which equates to either 44 or 45 Japanese.
Ratish, what size are you? You're 11.
Yes, traditionally, and most of the time I'm an 11. My feet get swollen, more swollen in the heat, as most people do. But I feel like go extra swollen. So I'm around 11.
Yeah.
And my right foot is about a quarter to a half size smaller than my left.
Classic. I just wanted to raise that because... Oh, Brendan, do you have anything specific more to say about the Patricks? They're really comfortable. You like them?
No, yeah, they're good. That's it. I think they look great. They're apparently, I think they were, what did we figure out? They were a French brand.
It's another one of those. Yeah, this happens a lot. So there will be a French or European brand, and then the brand will essentially stop operating, and then a Japanese company will buy the brand identity. It's not even licensing because I think the brand is no longer existent.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Think Tower Records. Tower Records is a great example
So
of
they
this.
just kind of take it over and make it their own. So it's sort of a French vibe in terms of the branding, but it's a Japanese company. They're Japanese made shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just got a pair of New Balances in the end. An issue that I have been having, again, because I shop so much secondhand, is I don't have a particularly large shoe size if I'm buying firsthand. If I go into a New Balance store or I go into a Patrick store, I'm a 8.5 US. Totally fine finding my size. Could not find anything used. I think that's because when you're finding stuff used, you're getting what most people are in terms of shoe size. So most of the men's sizes were too big and most of the women's sizes were too small. I barely found anything in my size on the used market at all.
Right.
So if you are looking to buy shoes and you're 8.5 US women's size or bigger, you're just going to have to buy new, which is fine. I think a lot of people are probably buying new anyway. Ratish, however, has been trying to buy new at a little bit more, I would say, fancier, more indie brands, and having a really hard time finding your size, correct? Have you found anything in your size? Oh, one pair of sneakers.
I found one, which I'm stoked because we're twinsies on them.
Oh, right, the leather shoes.
Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, we can talk about these shoes.
Let's talk about those, and then I'll go into more detail about your question, because I want to get back to that.
So we both got matching pairs of shoes. They're in different colorways. But they are leather shoes from Moonstar. It says at the bottom, actually made in Japan. Oh, now everyone's showing their shoes. Okay.
Look at that reverse stitching. It's so cool.
No, these are sick.
Yeah, you like them?
Yeah.
I got black, Ratish got brown, and
I'm gonna say, as somebody who's not as in the fashion world, they're almost like a cartoon drawing of shoes. Yeah. And I love that about them.
Okay,
to be clear,
that's a plus.
I think it actually looks very fashionable.
You're absolutely right.
You know what I
they're
mean?
funky. Yeah.
If you ask a kindergartner, what does a shoe look like?
Shoes. That's what they're gonna draw.
Yeah. In a good way, positive, complimentary.
So Moonstar is a Japanese company. I think they said these were handmade. This model specifically. Moonstar, however, is more well known for canvas shoes that are vulcanized. I don't know that much about the process, but it's essentially the way they bond the rubber to the canvas. Makes good, high quality shoes. And they also make shoes for a couple of other different companies. They have stockists, which is essentially they have stores that carry their shoes in the US and internationally, but if you come to Japan, it's going to be cheaper. Like anything that's originally from Japan, if you buy it in Japan, it's going to be cheaper. You can get things tax-free. It all sort of adds up. Mine, I believe these were 170 USD.
Yeah, around there.
Somewhere. And they were some of the pricier options. I was looking at sandals that were cheaper than that, maybe around 130, and their sneakers range up and down the pricing, but again, can be much more affordable than that. So that's what we picked up from Moonstar. But yeah, their flagship stores are in this really cute area called Jiugaoka, which it's going to feel a little bit out of the way. You're like, why do I want to go to this random neighborhood? I would say if you're in Nakameguro already, it's very accessible from Nakameguro, so it's just a couple stops over. So if you put those together, it might not feel as random. But again, there are lots of different other sort of multi-brand stores that carry them if you don't want to go to the flagship. But I thought they were really nice. the woman who helped us was
Incredible customer service.
so nice. And yeah, do you want to speak a little bit about the issues you've had finding shoes in your size? I mean, I don't want to dissuade people from trying to buy shoes in Japan if you have a size 11 or bigger, but it's definitely poses, just like everyone knows, if you're just a bigger size, if you're tall, it's harder to find stuff here in Japan.
Yeah, it sounds like the difference between you and me, like literally, like from 10 and a half to 11, like is it.
You have been trying like 10 and a half.
Yep.
Yeah. You'll be like, okay, fine, I'll try it. And then they're too small.
I'll try the 10 and a half, and while it will work lengthwise, from my heel all the way essentially through like my big toe, it won't work widthwise. I think they're typically in the Japan like way of approaching garments, specifically shoes, they tend to be narrower.
Do you want to do socks or t-shirts?
Yeah, because they're attached to the feet.
We are attaching the socks to the feet.
One of my favorite brands ever is quite expensive in the States. And so before getting here, I literally asked you, be like, hey, what's the general pricing of this things? And I said what the price is in the States. They're like, no, wait until you come to Tokyo and buy them here. And so for me, pretty much where I'm at with my journey of like socks and other garments is like pretty much linen and wool. That's where I'm living right now, and because it's temperature regulating and all these types of things. And so like this is what I'm talking about. Like, I just love this specific brand. They're called Nishiguchi Kutsushita Wabam sock influencer. So huge fan. And I've been wearing a couple of their linen rib socks for a while, and it takes a while to get used to them because they're not the typical comfort you'd expect. A lot of people like try on socks and they want like the really soft feel. That's what like a lot of brands have marketed towards
That's
us.
like the selling point.
Linen is not that. The linen rib socks, you will feel them, and they'll kind of be a little bit like a massage on your foot. Eventually you'll get used to it and be totally fine. And we were in incredibly hot weather. My feet get really sweaty and swollen, like I said earlier, and that was the least sweaty of like my entire body. They were incredible.
What was the other store that you wanted to talk about?
Oh,
close to
vintage magazine store,
yes,
which is very close by. Let's do that.
Yeah,
because you love Popeye.
Listen, this whole channel is founded on the back of Popeye magazine.
Thanks, Popeye.
So Popeye,
Thanks, Olive.
Yeah, if you're truly new here, Popeye magazine is a fashion and lifestyle magazine that was founded in the 70s in Japan, and I buy them, even if you just want to buy Japanese fashion magazines here in general. They don't even have to be old or vintage like the ones we got. But in the US, if you buy them at Kinokuniya, they're probably, I want to say at least over $20. Here, they're around 10. So it's like half the price just to buy the magazines in general. So if you want to pick up a couple, I highly suggest it.
This was such a cool find.
You like these?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just walking around. Actually, I got these at a different place than you got yours, but I also bought some
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
We were just walking around this kind of shishi neighborhood. It was near Yoyogi Park, right?
Yeah.
And I think you pointed out to me, you were like, I think there's a bunch of old Popeye magazines.
Just sitting out, like, it was a huge used bookstore, and then out in the front they just had like a crate filled with old Popeye.
Yeah, so I got one from every era, or every decade that they had. So I have this one from 89. I have this one from 79. Oh, I have two from 79 just because I love this title.
This one's 77. I specifically requested we get this one.
Yeah.
Just because it actually has Popeye on it.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's their
And that one I was obsessed with.
Tips for City Boy.
Yeah.
Tips for City Boy.
So cool.
So you can definitely, and again, these were not expensive. I don't remember. I think total they were about 7,000 yen. It just really wasn't that expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of these is 1,000 yen. Again, 1,000 yen is about $7 USD. This one is 1,000. Yeah, so they were not expensive.
I feel like with the plastic we're doing like a little ASMR
I know.
situation.
I haven't opened them yet. I feel like I'm going to wait till I get back home just in case. But if you don't, again, want to be needing to stumble upon Popeye magazines, the easiest way is to go to Jimbocho, which is called Booktown, which has been circulating more on social media, so people are more aware of it. And it's very central, actually. It's a very central part of town because it's partially Booktown because publishers have their offices there. So it's partially like a fun place to go and buy old and vintage periodicals, magazines, and books. but also it's very much a working neighborhood. So that's where we went to.
That's the one that was near NK Socks.
Yes. Magnif, I believe it was called.
Magnif, yes, with a really knowledgeable owner.
Yeah, he was very nice.
He was
sweet.
very hands off. He was doing his own thing, but whenever we had a question, he like knew exactly where everything was.
Yeah. Ratisha was like, "Do you have any favorites?" And he was like, "All of them." Like, I bought them and brought them here because I love them.
I gotta stop asking that question. Like once I specifically asked, like, "Hey, do you have anything from the 50s related to this specific?" Then his eyes lit up. He's like, "Yes, exactly, all that kind of stuff." So I've got actually stuff here from the 40s, 60s, 80s, and 2000s.
Wow.
Including this Esquire fashion calendar. That has a different tip.
The calendar is really cool.
Oh my God, from 1948?
It's from 1948.
I didn't see this. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, like, for example, in January, it talks about how to select hats, mufflers, and gloves. And that was the most expensive one out of everything. Everything was kept in plastic, of course.
It's gorgeous.
Oh my
It's
God,
gorgeous.
This is so cool.
I got this other one from this magazine called PS, which is really cool. And I think what I really like about these magazines is while they don't like match my style, I'm not like trying to get like necessary inspiration and be like, oh, what were people wearing in this era so I can recontextualize or anything. It's more of like better understanding where stuff came from is like where I'm really at. And like get off Pinterest. Like get out into a library, get into like these stores.
Pinterest sentiment right now.
Yeah. And like get away from that, and you're not going to be able to find digitized versions of this stuff. There isn't really an archivist doing this in this way from a 1966 PS1. And if somebody is an archivist in there, feel free to like check
us
me.
know.
But let us know.
But I do feel like if there is, they're not like free or publicly available. They're attached to a university or a museum.
Brooks Brothers gift selections for men, women, and boys. Christmas 1985. Interesting that they didn't mention girls.
None.
In the subheading. And then this other magazine from Italy called Colors. And yes, it's my favorite fruit.
The banana.
Can you show the back? Look at the back.
Yeah.
So cool.
And again, we're not sponsored by Big Banana, but I do love bananas. Cool. There's magazines.
But we are sponsored by Coca-Cola.
No, okay. We are, you know what? This is great timing. We are sponsored by Proper Cloth.
We didn't even script that. This is just vibes.
Not something I bought in Japan, but something I received in Japan. They were very, very nice to mail it to us directly in Tokyo. I'm wearing one of their shirts, so this is the Madras cotton shirt. These two people here are not wearing their shirts because they're custom made. So I couldn't give them the shirts that I got specifically to my specifications, but I will show you what the other two shirts I got were. So this is the navy brick and yellow Indian Madras. I also got a Clark light blue Oxford cloth and a blue indigo chambray, which Ratish very kindly ironed for me so that they would be camera ready. So like I said, Proper Cloth specializes in custom fit made to order shirts, pants, jackets, and suits. I just got the shirts. They give you so many options in terms of customization because I know a lot of people, because I talk to people about this all the time, I think it can be a little intimidating figuring out how to find the right sizing. And so they sort of can meet you where you are. I did the smart size quiz, which you just fill out a questionnaire and they sort of estimate your sizing from there. And if there's anything wrong with the sizing or you don't like it, they do free alterations. So you can get it, try it on, and then send it back or go in person. But there are like 6 or 7 other ways to do the sizing. So you can measure your body or you can measure a shirt you already own. You can send them a shirt. They will measure the shirt for you and then get you the size that you like. Or if you live in New York City or DC or Chicago, you can go in person, which if I was back home, I think I would have preferred to go in person because it seems so fun to have someone, tailor,
bust out the tape measure.
Bust out the tape measure.
Yeah.
So I think for me particularly, I'm very happy that they reached out because I've talked about this before, but obviously I don't have the standard sizing in terms of menswear. So if you struggle with finding classic menswear shapes and garments, you can go to Proper Cloth and get things very specifically made to fit you. Specifically, I wanted to shout out the Madras because it's very, very lightweight. And as we've talked about, it's extremely hot and sweaty here in Tokyo. And mattresses, it's a classic summer cloth. So this has been perfect. I'm excited to wear the other ones in a little bit cooler weather. Hopefully, whenever that happens. But I think we're looking down the barrel of 2 or 3 more months of warm weather. So I'll have to wait a little longer. But thank you, Proper Cloth.
Thank you, Proper Cloth.
Our actual sponsor.
Our actual sponsor. Here's one thing that everyone told me I needed to buy when I came to Japan.
Big number one.
The number one thing. And I was so interested in why that was, and then I got one of these for myself, and now I completely understand, and then I think have brought Ratish into the religion. It's nail clippers. This is a thing. I gotta...
You're too high.
Oh yeah, there we go. We got them. These are from Greenbill, which is the only brand you should probably buy from. They have 2 sizes.
You guys got both sizes?
Ratish got the small one.
Nice.
Yeah,
Travel.
like without knowing and planning this.
And basically, I think Persia described this the best because she tried these. Whenever you're using nail clippers at home in the US, you can feel they kind of bend the nail a little bit, and you get a sense of this is where they're going to cut eventually, right? Because they're kind of bending in that spot. Not the case with Japanese Greenbill nail clippers. These are just so sharp. Literally, what they say on the box is what medical grade stainless steel.
Yeah.
They just cut like butter.
The girl agrees.
Every sound is happening outside right now.
People are revving their engines because they agree.
They're like, Greenbill.
I'm sure that's how people feel about it.
Yes.
I wonder if they buy other nail clippers and they're
don't know.
like, this is trash.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Once you have tried this, I think you'll never want to try anything else ever again for the rest of your life, which I think is probably great because these feel so sturdy that I think I will never need to buy another pair of nail clippers for the rest of my life. They're unreal.
I have to say I was a little freaked out by them.
Yeah.
Because they cut so quickly and so easily.
You nicked yourself.
I nicked myself a tiny bit. Well, I didn't bleed, but this was gross, I guess. But you have extra skin sometimes on your toes.
Yeah.
And it just a little bit of it came off.
Yeah.
So it was fine ultimately, but I was surprised because you just don't feel it.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to really feeling the build up to the nail cut.
What I equate this to is if you ever see Legally Blonde, old nail clippers, the ones in the US are bend and snap.
Yeah.
And this one's just
Snap.
Just snap.
It's just snap.
It's just snap.
No idea where you were going with the
Yeah,
Legally
that was
Blonde
honestly
reference.
killer.
Honestly, I don't know either. Sometimes you just start a sentence, I just don't know where it's going to go.
I think you nailed it.
And I have to nail the dismount. But these things slap.
I want to talk about maybe the elephant in the room, which I just remembered, is that I'm wearing new glasses. Brendan got a pair of new glasses too. Yeah, these are my new glasses.
Oh yeah, it was our wedding present to each other.
Yes, we got each other new glasses.
Should I put my...
Yeah,
I got sunglasses.
So I got mine from this store. Just to preface, because we have time here, I got glasses with lenses put in. It took about a week and a half or even longer. So I had that flexibility. If you do want to do something like that and you have 2 weeks here, maybe, if you're in Tokyo at the start, go do it and then come back do it day one, come back and pick them up if you're flying back out of Tokyo. There's definitely ways to do it. But yeah, it takes time, especially if you go to the fancier store. So I want to be transparent. I think the frames were around 350, and then with the lenses, I think the total cost was about 400, which glasses are expensive. So I'm always God, that's so expensive, but that's honestly without having any insurance here to cover anything. I think a reasonable price for made in Japan. I think these are really
They're
nice.
Extremely nice. They're extremely
because
nice
we really went into a lot of glasses stores.
Yeah.
And we found places that were similar in price and just felt so much cheaper. But I thought the quality at Ayame was really good. I thought the quality at Yuichi Toyama was really good as well.
Oh yeah, that place was sick.
And then the other place we went for you was Native Sons.
Native Sons.
And these are not Native Sons specifically. They are Julius Tart Optical. But he got different colored lenses in, but they're not prescription.
Yeah, they're not prescription. They're just sunglasses, but they're so nice.
They're so sick.
Yeah.
And my belief, and something I've been thinking about a while and wanting to do
you
for
look
a
so
while.
good in them?
Oh yeah, you do look good. Cute.
Can I have them?
Yeah, sure. Have my wedding present. That sounds great.
God, these are so cool.
Do you want to go to Native Sons? We can go today.
Yeah.
Actually, probably, dude. These
They
are
have
sick.
so much cool stuff there.
They have a lot of
and
cool
it
stuff.
took, 10 minutes to get the lenses made?
They were quick. Yeah. My sort of dream, and this is specific to my sort of personal style, but my dream was not necessarily this outfit, but my dream is to just put on a black t-shirt and a really cool pair of glasses, and
That's the look.
that's the look.
Oh my God, can we talk about those two people in the bar?
Yes.
You're doing that.
Yes, that's
Yes, this is
exactly
what
what
you're
I'm
doing.
doing.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm
Okay,
doing.
we have photos, I think. Maybe we could show.
Of these poor random
Maybe describe.
people. Okay, so we're in this. We went to, what's the nicer word for it? Golden Alley?
Golden Guy.
Golden Guy. Just gonna call it something else.
Yeah.
We went to Golden Guy, which is a very famous, I'm gonna say quasi-tourist trap, but it's...
Oh, those people in the bar.
Yes.
Oh my God, I thought you were talking about the tourists.
No, not the
Okay.
tourists. You were so confused.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I just took those photos off the camera. They look great.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
All right, I'll show them.
Okay. Yeah.
So we went to Golden Guy, and, you know, it's like completely pretty much overrun by tourists for the most part. It's this really cool / cute area where there's these tiny alleys and there's bars in every single building, and all the bars seat like maximum 5 or 6 people, and it is a really cool environment, and I understand why it's become so touristy. But we have this one bar that we went to a couple years ago that we wanted to go back because we love the owner. He speaks English, really cool guy, used to live in the States for a while. His name is Ace. It's called Aces, I think. It's just
Aces. Yeah.
Aces.
Aces Bar.
Aces Bar. Highly recommend.
Sorry, I think it's Aces Music Lounge is actually the name of
Oh, really?
the establishment. Yeah.
Okay. And we go in, we're chit-chatting with him again. It's us and a couple other people are sort of coming in and out, both like tourists and Japanese people.
Yeah.
After we're like maybe 2 drinks deep, these 3 Japanese guys come in like totally like, hey, what's up? Like, nice to see you again. Like, they seem like they're
The
regulars.
regulars. Yeah.
I was having like heart palpitations. The way they were dressed
We
was
got hot. It got hot in the bar.
I got hot in the bar. 3 older gentlemen wearing just like exactly like my dream, which is like cool glasses, nicely coiffed hair,
Yeah.
just like I think a short sleeve button down with a
red kerchief around the neck
That's
for
true.
one of them.
One of them was wearing a little
Yep.
bandana, and but
pull
just
the
like the
picture.
style, it's just like was so deceptively simple, is what I would call it. But it looked as good as I think any look has ever looked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a person to be like this style is better than this style at all. But to me, the thing that I find the most aspirational is something that looks really deceptively simple versus something that's like really like so much layering, like loud and like very complicated, I would say. Oh my God. Yes, that's the picture you got of them. So cute. It's all in the styling. They have nice glasses. These 2 guys, he has, I think, probably a pretty expensive watch. He has like a little kerchief, just a black shirt, and some sort of bracelet.
It gave like a really wonderful effortlessness
Yeah.
that was also very practical and very stylish.
Yeah.
And it's a hard balance.
It's such a hard balance. I think it's really hard. Anyway, so the glasses to me is like my step towards that
Yep.
that glorious future. I have a Google Maps list of all the different glasses store recommendations I have, but commonly people do just go to Jin's.
Yeah.
Jin's is totally fine. They have made in Japan frames as well, and they're very quick. They can,
They do it same day.
they do it same day, I think, to get
Lenses,
new
yeah.
lenses in there. So that's obviously a totally fine option. But there are some really cool glasses to buy in
Would you
Japan.
say, how would you compare Jin's to like a place in New York? Is it like a lens crafters situation? Is it like a Moscot?
I would say it's like cheaper than Lens Crafters.
We don't really have something.
Yeah, I don't think
Like Jin's?
Yeah.
Great, then you should go.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I mean, the thing
I think
that,
we do online. Like you could
Okay.
maybe like an iBuy Direct, which is where I have my silver frames from. But I assume iBuy Direct. But we don't have a brick and mortar, I would say.
Cool. I think that's a great comparison.
Actually, I think we're winding down. Brendan, I will let you talk about video games, but I want to talk about one more thing
Cool.
that I have, which is pretty self-evident. Again, since I buy things secondhand, I am mostly trying to look for Japanese brands secondhand here. And if you want to buy in person, which so much of clothing buying happens online now, and I totally accept that, I'm sort of in a phase right now where I don't want to buy things online if possible. I just want to touch them. I want to try them on. I want to feel them. It's just where I'm at right now. So I had a list of specific secondhand brands I was looking for: Margaret Howell, 45R, Nanamika, Orally, Graph Paper, Kamoli. There's just a sort of general list I had in mind, but I also am always looking for anything Yoji, and Yoji Yamamoto, and I did find 2 pieces for fairly good prices. This one I've talked about before. It's can you hold this up? Thank you. It's Wise. It's a Wise blouse. I really like it, I have to say, which is like so classic, even if you try things on. I wore it out, and the buttons are so far apart that I was like showing a little too much skin on the subway. Just like when I moved around, like you could see like my stomach and stuff. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Maybe I'll get some fashion tape. Maybe I'll just buy a camisole or something to wear under it, so there's not so much
yeah.
show and tell. And, well, mostly show, not so much tell.
Yeah. It was me telling you that you're showing.
Yeah. And, yeah, so I'll figure that out. I have great faith in that. And then I got these. These are like literally my grail. So since I've been coming to Japan, since 2019, I've been looking for, just, this sounds like really innocuous. I've been looking for a pair of black cotton trousers in a very specific shape that you see a lot of the like quote unquote cool guys wear, which is like sort of wide and then slightly tapered at the bottom. So it's not like totally wide leg. I found these at the Ragtag in Shibuya, which is, you know, it's not going to be the cheapest prices in the world, but I think these were only 115, just a little over $100. And we went in, something we realized now that we've been shopping so late into the night is that when stores close, they start playing Old Lang Syne.
Yeah.
So I was trying desperately to buy these pants while they're like, old questions we forgot. And then I was like, is this just Ragtag? But no, we've been in so many more stores.
Yeah, we were walking through Harajuku, and we just heard it blaring out of every store we walked by. Like, different parts of Old Lang Syne were just happening.
I never, ever realized that before.
So funny. Yeah.
That's that at the end of It's a Wonderful Life, yeah? They're all singing it?
Oh, I don't know. It's just like, it's like the New
I think
Year's
so.
song.
Yeah, it's a New Year's
song.
Yeah.
Brendan, I saved you for last.
Oh, great. The best part for last for this fashion video.
Yes.
Okay, so if you know me and you know my whole deal at all outside of this YouTube
This
channel.
is a little cross promo.
Yeah, I'm not going to plug myself, but like if you know my whole deal, you know that I really love video games. Japan is a really great place to come and buy retro game stores. So for all of the vintage fashion stores you've been going to and all these used fashion stores you've been going to, I've been doing the same thing, but for retro video game stores.
This is the yin and the yang.
Yeah. But one thing that I didn't really realize until this trip is actually new video games is kind of a great buy here as well. One game in particular that I was really looking for Persia, because I thought she would like it, is this one, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time for the Nintendo Switch. The thing about buying new video games here is that it's really difficult to find physical new video games because there are no real, like, they don't have like GameStop here. You just have to go to like electronics department stores like Bic Camera or Yodobashi and see if you can find them. But point being, if you do find them, they're generally like half the price here that they would be
cheaper
at home, which is great. The hitch, obviously, and requires a bunch of Googling, is they're Japanese. So you just need to find the games that have English subtitles built into it, like if they're localized in a bunch of languages. So Fantasy Life I, interestingly, just has every language on the cartridge, no matter what. So if you buy this game, it'll have English on it, and Percy's been playing it in English, which is cool. But that's just an interesting thing that I learned. So a couple times video games have come out that I needed to play for a podcast or something, and I've just looked around to see if I could find it in Japan, and if I did, it was generally half the price, or like maybe, I don't know, 2/3 of the price that it would be at home.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
If people are also interested in retro video games, Brendan is putting together a series sort of reviewing how to find retro video games for good prices and in different places. So,
Imagine this video, but for video games.
for video games, yeah. So I'll link that. And if people are into fashion and video games,
It's a bunch back there.
which does happen, I've heard, then
Yeah.
they can check that out.
I think I'm an example of that, and you're an example of that.
It's true.
And Ratish is also an example of that. We all contain multitudes,
Yeah.
folks, and you can too.
Ratish, I think you should show your grail
Oh my god. Okay.
just to cap it all off
I think I know what you're talking
The
about.
perfect marriage of
of what we're talking
what
about.
we're talking about. Yeah.
Yes, let's see it. Okay, Ratish came here with one specific thing on their mind. Actually, when we went to the glasses place, you were wearing this t-shirt, and one of the staff members there was obsessed. You guys had a long Google Translate conversation, so tell and show.
This is like one of my favorite video games of all time. Wow.
You're getting verklempt.
You're getting emotional. I understand.
Puberty.
Yeah.
So I was a big video gamer. I'm still I'm a casual gamer now, and this just takes me like back. I'm gonna show the front.
Get in there.
I'm gonna get in here. Look.
There he is.
Look at him.
It's Cloud Strife.
One of my favorite. This is my favorite video game like of all time. It is one of the first times I cried, spoiler alert, Aerith. Oh my God. We went to about 22 or so stores. And we were in Quenji, and we had split up. And literally the next store after that, I found this. And the employee, I was literally about to turn around and walk out, and I saw the employee. I was like, hey, by any chance, do you have that? And I was using Google Translate. And his eyes lit up, and he just beelined straight for exactly where it was. He went through a few shirts, and then boom, there it was. And I just could not contain my excitement. And I know both of y'all have seen me ask every single store owner, like, hey, do you have this? Do you know where I can find it? Blah, blah, blah. Most people have said no.
But everyone's sort of like, no, they're like, yes. Like, everyone's looking for this shirt. Everyone's like, like, we all want that shirt. We're all looking for the shirt.
We're all looking for the shirt.
And, and once you had the shirt, everybody was like, oh my God, you got the shirt. Like,
and it's like very distressed.
Yeah.
It's not the most distressed thing I have, but it's much softer than a lot of the other other copies of this shirt. This is much thinner. I was wearing it outside yesterday and feeling totally comfortable. The collar's blown out. There's holes in it. Like, it's super faded. It's just, this is gonna be like a workhorse in my wardrobe. Like, and this is what I love about where I'm at in the fashion world right now, where I'm trying to buy stuff that like has some sort of meaning to me, and also is comfortable, and also looks good, and is a good price, and all these kind of things. And this is like one of those things that,
so it hits all those.
Where it hits all of those things for me, and layered on top of other things that I either inherited from friends and family, or was gifted, or found new. Like, the combo of all those things just makes me so happy.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
Candidly, I don't know if you know this either. I don't know if it's easier or harder to get one of these in Japan. But
so I've like looked on eBay, I've looked at all those places, but like I've pretty much stopped buying stuff online.
Right.
And I think for similar reasons for you, like what you're mentioning, I really enjoy walking around and all that. I don't want to sit, doom scrolling and then just buying everything there. Like, I don't want to do that. So I made it extra hard on myself going to stores, asking if they have a line on it. Oh, and one of the stores, they did have one. He was like, you can't have it because I'm going to Tokyo. No, I'm going to Seoul.
Yeah.
To sell it there
Really?
as kind of like a bait thing. You can buy it afterwards, and I'll maybe hold on to it for you. I was like, that's weird and sketchy. I don't want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know what the condition is. And so, I just don't think there's going to be another one like this beat up in this way. And it like fits just, I just feel like $1 million when I wear it. And
that's awesome.
I think this was one of the bonding elements. I think this is one of the wonderful like nostalgia / cross-cultural bonding moments that happen in places like Tokyo, where when you're wearing something, folks' like faces light up, and they don't. I feel like sometimes in other cities, maybe New York, people are giving you a compliment and you feel like it's kind of fake. Maybe they're trying to get you to buy something, whatever. Like, folks were just like, this is awesome, and that was the end of that conversation. It wasn't really like, oh, then,
there's such
let
love
me lead you down
and
to other
nostalgia
things.
for this game.
Yeah,
I think people are really, and it takes them back to like a childhood.
Yeah. The guy who was working at Ayame, the glasses store that you were at, struck up a conversation with you, was like, do you know how rare that shirt is that you're wearing? And you were like, absolutely, yes, do I know how rare this is.
I was like, yes and yes. And what's funny is like what was ironic was like a lot of the contacts that I have in the vintage space, because I buy, sell, trade vintage clothing and stuff, as well as some new stuff. A lot of them didn't really have a line, but this random person that was like, hadn't been working there that long, but was doing inventory, he was the Rolodex, and he like knew exactly where it was.
I do think, I think if you live in Tokyo, or maybe even New York, if you talk to sellers and be like, I'm looking for this, if something comes in, let me know. Like, I think that's probably a better way to like get a sort of t-shirt like this, is like you really have to have contacts.
Totally.
But
I mean, stuff just sells out here so easily.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not to bring it back here, but like even this was sold out
everywhere.
Pretty much everywhere we went, and it just required like going to stores over and over and over and over again to see if they'd restocked.
I have to say, not everyone in Tokyo speaks English by any means, and we communicated through all sorts of different ways, but everyone knows how to say sold out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just Japan or a different way that they do retailing here, but things are not available. Like, you'll go into a lot of stores and they don't have your size, and they just don't have it, and when it's sold out, it's sold out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just like different attitudes about keeping things in stock, but I'm not sure that that's happening as much in the US as it is here. So if you're expecting things, like, definitely keep that in mind, that things are not always available.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being in the video.
Of course. I was like nervous and like sweaty beforehand, but
You did great.
like
I kept the AC on.
it just and it's great. It's so great. And like, I don't know, I just love this conversation. And I hope this was useful to everybody.
Yeah, I hope this was useful, and let us know if there's specific things you like to buy in Japan, or there's something you're looking forward to if you're coming to Japan, or if there's anything we missed. We have 4 more days. Speak now.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.